This is Sindhu Serpentini from Imaginations to Creation, and today I'll be teaching you how to make the super simple, easy pop-up card. And it's a Christmas themed pop-up card. So it says Merry Christmas on the front, and then you open it up and it has a cool Christmas tree pop-up in the card too. So there's a pop-up in the front and in the card, which is super cool. And it's going to be super fun and simple. It's going to be a fun, like, last 2020 card sort of thing. The materials you'll be needing is just basic paper and scissors and glue. That's really all the materials we'll be needing. I'll be going over the specific materials later. Alright, so we're going to first start off with some red paper for the main color of the card. We're also going to need some green paper for the Christmas tree as a part of the card. This is optional. As a last step, we'll also be making like pop-up ornaments on the card. So we have like 2 pop-up things. And the pop-up, for the pop-up ornaments, or even for really anything, you can have some cool Christmas themed paper. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for a Christmas tree unless it's like green and everything. Or even white, because some Christmas trees are white. But I recommend maybe some cool designs or cute designs for the ornaments, because I have many of these, so I might use some of these cute designs for an ornament. And I think we'll be doing about maybe 2 to 3 ornaments. But anyways, we're going to first start off with our red paper. And I'm using cardstock paper for the red part. We're just going to first start off by folding our red paper. And I'll actually put some paper underneath it so you can see it better. Okay, so all I'm doing is just folding it in half like this. And it might help to lift up the paper a little bit. It doesn't need to be exact, but you want it as close as you can get it, as close as possible. Like this. So we have our card right here. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the green paper. And this is also cardstock paper, but you do not have to use cardstock paper. You can use anything you have, and they do not need to be these specific colors, but the colors I'll be using will make it more Christmassy. The only part, obviously, it's pretty much like optional color-wise is probably the ornaments, but you can really do anything optional if you don't have these certain materials. Make the best use of what you have. That's what true creativity is. Alrighty, to first start off, we're going to fold our green paper in half. This way, just like we did with the red paper. And for this part, it might actually be easier to use any paper other than cardstock or thick paper, because we'll be folding the paper a few times, so it might be a little bit difficult, but we'll do our best. Alright, so I have my paper folded in half now, like this. And the next thing I want to do is fold it in half again. So we're just going to fold it the best we can like this. So the folding part is where it might get a little bit tricky. So you can get something that's like hard and kind of crease down on the edges, which will help. Like this. So now I've got it folded again. And then we're going to fold it one more time. But this time we're going to fold it like this. You just want to do the best you can. So now I've got it folded in half like this. Now the next thing we're going to actually be needing is a ruler. And then we're also going to be needing a pencil for this. If you don't have a ruler, that's fine. I'll just be demonstrating without a ruler because some of you guys might not have a ruler. But the first thing we're going to do is just draw a line that comes from the top to the bottom. So we want the the edges on this side. We don't want like the one fold part over here. The fold and the edges is the side we want on the right. And we're just gonna go ahead and start at the end right here. And bring it down right about there. We don't want all the way to the bottom though. That's basically what we're going to do for the first step. And then the next step we're going to do is work on this side. And we're just going to make little lines that come through. We want to make them as equally spaced as possible. So let me show you what I mean. We're going to start off right here. Keep in mind, make them as equally spaced as possible, as straight as possible. You have a ruler perfect. If you don't, then I'm demonstrating what you would do. Alright, so it should look something like this. And I can actually add one. Like this. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is turn our paper like this. And we're just going to continue adding some like triangular lines. So let me show you what I mean. So we're just going to start like right here and add little triangular lines. Like, so we're just making straight lines that are diagonal, but it should be looking like triangles. So it should look something like this. If you look at it, it should look something like a Christmas tree. Like half of a Christmas tree, kind of. So the next thing we're going to do is cut off the pieces that we don't need of this paper. So, we're just going to use the scissors. And I am just going to go ahead and snip the best I can right here. And then right here. Like this. And it might help to just go through and snip off some of the extra paper in there. And this is what I was saying, it might be difficult to use cardstock paper, but at the same time it'll hold up easier. Alright, you also want to be careful when you're cutting this too, because it can be thick. So I've got this, and then I'm just going to go along and cut right here. And then I'm going to do it over here. So I'm almost done cutting these. Just have a few more. Alright. Now I'm not going exactly by these lines because some of them may feel a little bit off. So if they don't feel where they should be, then don't worry and you don't have to go exactly by the lines. I'm almost done here. I got most of them done. Got a few more to go. Alright, so here are my extra pieces. And I'm just going to go ahead and set those aside. Alright. So I have it cut. So if you open it up, you should have different pieces. But it should look something like this. So it's not going to be like 4 different pieces. It should be something. When you fold it, it looks like different pieces. So, anyways, I have my last step right here to snip this part off. Alright, so the now should be separate pieces. So let me show you the next thing that we're going to be doing. So for this next part, we're actually going to be needing some glue. And I recommend liquid glue probably for this one, but you can use any glue you have. So you can use a liquid glue or a glue stick. Really anything works. Alright, so let's get started with the gluing. But before we get started with the gluing, we're actually going to do one last step. We're just going to pull these apart. And we're actually going to make 2 more of these. So you want to get the same colored paper, and this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to fold it in half like this, so I get 2 of them. Then I'm just going to go ahead and put this down and trace it. Alright, so should look something like this. I'm just going to erase any of the extra pencil lines I got on it. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. And you actually want this to be as close as you can to the same size. best to not cut too far or too deep into it. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is just fold them in half. Keep that still clean. This isn't exactly symmetrical, so it's hard to get exactly symmetrical because we're trying to trace it, but that's alright as long as it's close. Alright, so now we've got these here. So we've got our 6. The first thing we're going to do is apply glue to one of them in the center of it. We don't need too much. Like this, and now we're going to get another one. And just set it right in it like this. You want to make sure it's just in the center. You don't want it everywhere on it. And then we're going to apply another layer on top of that one. I'm just making sure they're not all sticking together. Alright, then we're going to apply another layer on this one. And remember, we're only applying it in the center. And also we can erase these lines on this one over here. Alright, so now we've got 4 of them on. Now we're going to do it again. And now we're going to attach one. Like that. We've got that attached. And now we're going to do our last one. Alright, so should look something like this. And the next thing we're going to do is take out the first flap and the next flap. Just kind of push them down together like this. You want to do your best to make it stay. We're just going to continue lifting up the next flap. And the next flap. The next one. And then the next one. And then the next one. And the next one. And then the last one and the first one. So it should look something like this. Alright. we're going to do is go ahead and stick this and glue this onto our folded piece of paper that we folded earlier. So we're going to glue the last two pieces on like this, and then we'll like put these together a bit more, but we're going to first do that. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put some regular glue on first. And I'm just making like a triangle shape like how the tree is. Make sure I'm getting the last one. I'm actually also going to put some of this glue just to make sure it's secure. It doesn't need to be real neat. And it should look something like this. So, we should be opening up each little section a bit more. Alright. So we should have different pieces like this, and the main thing you want to do is make sure that it doesn't look like it's folded in the middle. So you want to do your best to make the middle part as close together as possible, but you don't want to glue it together still. Alright, so it should look something like this, and the cool part is that if you close it and you open it up, it should be like a pop-up card. Like a Christmas tree one. I think it's super cute and neat. And we just want to crease on it a little bit. Like this. It looks super duper neat and cool. Alright. So we can also add like the little stump or like the trunk, and then we can also add the tree later. But for this next step, we're going to go ahead and add the next part of the pop-up card. So it's like two pop-up parts in one. So for this one, this will be the ornaments. So let me show you what I was talking about. So I'm going to put this aside for now. But now is the time that you can get your like fancy paper or whatever if you want to make the ornaments look cool. I got this one here, and I think I might choose maybe this one for the ornaments because those are like ornaments kind of. Or this one. It's pretty similar, just like kind of different colors. Or I might even do this one. It just depends. But I think I probably don't want to do an exact red because that's the color of the card. Alright, so I think I might actually just go with this cute little pattern here. I also like this one here. This one's cute too. I think this will be the best for the ornament part of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this. And I don't need the whole page of this. I don't want to waste it. So I'm only gonna take out what I need. So by doing that, I'm actually just going to start tracing a circle so it's the same size. If you don't have anything circular, then you can just eyeball it. But you wanna, I'm probably might just use the outside of this. And you wanna see if it'll fit on your card. And I think this will be a good size. So I'm only gonna use what I need and I'm gonna make 4 of these. And then I have one more. Alright, so it's okay if it's not exact as long as it's close. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these out. I'm gonna do my best to try not to waste much. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these out. Alright, so I got my 4 right here. The next thing I'm going to do is fold them all in half this way. I'm going to crease them pretty good. Alrighty, so now I've got my 4 all folded. And the next thing I'm going to do is actually glue them together. So it's just like the Christmas tree. I'm going to use this glue again to look like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue it in here. Like this. And this is one of my favorite pop-up sort of things to do because it's really cool. The next thing we're going to do is glue on the inside of this one that we just put on too. Like this. And now we're going to go ahead and stick it on. Alright, so now we're going to glue our last, put glue on our last one. Here. And we're going to glue it on. Alright, so now we have them glued on, and if we put them down, it should look something like this. Then we get the next one, and the next one, like this. So once it dries, it'll look really cool. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is make another one of these. But before we do that, we just want to make sure that they're not going to each other. So I'm just going to hold this down. And then do all of them. I'm gonna make another one now of the same thing, but I'm gonna use different like designs. So I don't want to include very much red in it because I don't want it to be like the color of mine. My cards, I don't want to blend in too much. Actually, I can probably use this. Go with different pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and trace these out again. So now on the last one. Alright, so I'm just going to snip it out, trying not to waste too much of this paper. Alright, so I'm going to shut this. Then I'm going to cut these out over here. So I've now got these four. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold them in half. Like we did on the last one. If you're just a design or something like that you want to be like showing in a correct way, make sure you're folding it according to that. It's okay, you can unfold it and make it however you want it if you didn't already.
so I'm gonna go ahead and put glue on this first one here. Alright, so we're just gonna do this on the next one now. And sometimes you just have to wait for the glue to like settle down. Just be patient with it. And this one here. And I'm gonna do the last one over here. Alright. So now I've got that. Alright. So now these two are done. I'm just gonna let them sit. Alrighty, for this next part, we're going to go ahead and glue them on to our card. We're going to glue them on to the front. So I'm going to get my glue stick. I'm just going to make a circle right about here, a circular shape. Alright, so as you can see, it already looks super cool. And I'm going to go ahead and glue on the next one. And this one I'm going to do a little bit higher up. just gonna go ahead and push these down a bit. Sometimes you might need to re-glue some. That's okay. Alright. You just need to wait for it to dry completely. Alright, this next part, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to draw like 2 lines up and down like a string. Don't want them necessarily this thick. And I just do a little bow right there. And I'm gonna have to glue this one back in. There we go, we've got an ornament, and then we can also write Merry Christmas or anything like that over here. Merry Christmas, or whatever you'd like to on the front, and then you can open it up and it'll be a super cool, easy pop-up card. And you can also add a star here, and you can also add the bottom trunk.